What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining me today. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit the like button because that is the most important thing you can do with me on this channel. What it does is that it helps make sure that those who are subscribed to the channel will indeed get the notifications, and it also helps to push this video through the YouTube algorithm as well. Secondly, if you're new to the channel, or maybe you've been ghost watching this channel for quite some time now, please do me a favor and yourself a favor by hitting the subscribe button as well as the bell notification next to the subscribe button so you can be notified whenever I release a new video. And lastly, please make sure you share this video out on your social media platforms to your family and friends to inform them on this news and information. And yes, that does also help to give me a slight boost in the YouTube algorithm also. And with the introduction out of the way, let's get into today's news. And today, we are headed back to New Venezuela, formerly known as New York City, because as I stated in my last video, summer is here, ladies and gentlemen. Summertime is here, and it is only going to get hotter and hotter in New Venezuela, formerly known as New York City. Now, coming off of the recent news of Bernard Raul Castro Mata, the illegal immigrant Venezuelan migrant who shot two NYPD officers, coming off of that news, now we have this situation here where we have two more of Biden's illegal immigrant migrants who carjacked an NYPD officer at gunpoint and stole his car from him. Now, this lack of fear that we see coming from these Venezuelan migrants, many of whom are tied to the violent Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua, the lack of fear for law enforcement that we see coming from them stems from the fact and comes out of the information that we were given once Bernardo Castro Mata snitched, right? Once he snitched, stating that members in the Venezuelan gang are encouraged to shoot police officers. Yes, back in their homeland of Venezuela, those who are members of Tren de Aragua are encouraged to shoot at police officers. That's what they are encouraged to do. And obviously, the purpose of that is to instill fear, not just simply upon the police departments, but upon the general population. Because if this gang has no fear of law enforcement, then they definitely will have no fear of you. If they will shoot at police, what do you think they will do to you? This is about establishing fear within the general region that they're occupying so that everyone knows that they are not the ones to mess around with. So with that being understood, it is now no surprise that we're seeing an uptick in what seems to be more and more attacks and violations on NYPD officers in New York City, right? And we also have to remember as well, Tren de Aragua is a gang that, as far as what we know so far, they're operating out of 5 states: New York, Illinois, Indiana, Louisiana, and Texas currently is what we know of. But seemingly New Venezuela, New York City is the hub. That seems to be the hub, the headquarters, the Mecca for Tren de Aragua and their dealings and everything that they do as it pertains to crime, right? So now what I want to do is that I want to get into this article here concerning two of the migrants, air quotes, who robbed at gunpoint an NYPD officer for his car, because it is alleged, it is not 100% known for certain yet if they are Venezuelan migrants. What we do know is that they are illegal immigrants, but we don't know if they're from Venezuela just yet, but it is suspected that they are, because tattoos that are normally on those gang members who are associated with Tren de Aragua were found on these individuals as well. This is why it is believed that they are Venezuelan migrants also. But that's enough of me introducing this video. Let's just get into the information. Two armed men, believed to be Venezuelan migrants, one of whom carrying a fully automatic pistol, carjacked an off-duty NYPD officer in Harlem, law enforcement sources said. The men approached the officer while he was sitting in his personal 2020 BMW around 11:30 p.m. Friday at West 146th Street at Bradhurst Avenue, sources said. The suspects, who had tattoos believed to be associated with the Venezuelan gang, had their weapons drawn. One of them knocked the officer's gun out of his hand and demanded his keys. I'm going to repeat that again. One of them knocked the officer's gun out of his hand and demanded his keys. They smacked the gun out of the officer's hand and still took the keys from him. Unbelievable. The pair then sped off into the night in the officer's vehicle, police sources told the Post. One of the guns in the brazen incident had a Glock switch making it fully automatic, something not typically seen in New York City, sources said. So it looks like they're getting those Chicago guns imported into New York City now. Inside the vehicle was the cop's iPad, which was used to track the car down. Looks like these guys aren't that bright, right? It was found empty less than a mile away at West 138th Street and Broadway, sources said. Police sourced the area and located the suspects. Two guns were also recovered. Neither man had their IDs on them, of course not, but provided their names to police as Jomar Crispo, 21, and Jose Riviera, 20, with a shared address in Waterbury, Connecticut. Authorities believe the suspect gave fake names, sources said. Riviera and Crispo were each charged with robbery, grand theft auto, possession of a machine gun, possession of a loaded firearm, possession of stolen property, making rapid fire modifications to a gun, and unlawful possession of an ammo feed device. Now, I want to go back to the fact that authorities believe that they were given fake names. Obviously, this isn't something that's too much of a shocker as well. If you remember the video that I did on Terrain de Aragua, where the federal officer was speaking on this group, on this gang, I should say, they refer to members of this gang as ghost criminals, just simply due to the fact that we literally just don't know who these people are. There is no history on them because they're illegal immigrants who crossed the border by way of Biden's open border policies. So we have no information on them. We don't know what their real names are. We don't know who these people are at all whatsoever. And the other piece of information that I discussed not too long ago, I believe it was last week, is the fact that the Venezuelan government refuses to give over the criminal records of those who are immigrating into this country illegally from Venezuela. Whenever the U.S. authorities contact the Venezuelan government to find out whether or not these people have criminal records, the Venezuelan government literally refuses to hand those documents over and to either confirm or deny whether or not they have a criminal record. So that in and of itself speaks volumes as it pertains to the quality of illegal immigrants crossing the border and coming into the country. It truly speaks volumes.
All of it adding to the growing questions about the vetting process at the border. Venezuela is one of several countries that will not share criminal records of its citizens with U.S. authorities doing migrant background checks.
Now, let's round this article out. It states in closing, it's the second time in a month an attack on the NYPD has been linked to migrants. Earlier in June, a 19-year-old migrant connected to a Venezuelan gang opened fire on two police officers, leaving them wounded. Bernardo Raul Castro Mata, who illegally entered the U.S. in July in Texas, allegedly told police after his arrest he was recruited by a violent Venezuelan gang in New York City and encouraged to get distinctive tattoos to show his allegiance. But we also have to remember as well, or we have to consider this, is Bernardo Raul Castro Mata even this guy's name? Remember the news video that I did a few weeks ago concerning the illegal immigrant Venezuelan migrant who actually shot and killed two people and wounded another? Those three who were shot, two of whom were killed, they were both legal residents of an NYC apartment complex during a dispute in between the legal residents and the illegal immigrant squatters. This illegal immigrant pulled a gun out, shot two legal residents, and wounded another, and has since been on the run. There was a name that was given of the individual who shot the legal residents, but then it came to light that the information that they were given may not have been true. They were given one name and told that he was an adult around the age of 21. But then as investigations furthered, they found out that that is most likely not his name and that he was actually not 21 or 22, but 17 years old. So this is where we now come back to the term ghost criminals, where we don't know who these individuals are. At best, you might get a picture of them, but as far as any other critical information is concerned, it just doesn't exist because we don't know anyone's real name. We don't know their real age. We don't know anything about them, other than the fact that they're committing crime in New York City and violating the citizen population. That's all we know about them. But outside of that, we don't know anything else. For all of you who are currently living in New Venezuela, please be careful and watch your back, because it appears to be getting crazier and crazier by the day in that city. So thank you all for watching this video today. Please hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel. Share this video out on your social media platforms. And also don't forget to follow me on Telegram at TD Media Group. The link to my Telegram is in the description box below and will be pinned in the comment section as well. Thank you all for your time. And until the next video, peace and have a great afternoon.